following political paid advertisements do not reflect the political opinions of the program or its associates. Any political campaign or candidate who wishes to purchase advertising can do so. Advertising is open to all on behalf of Gloves Off.
Action Gloves Off. I'm Professor Buitrón. I'm sitting here with Patricia Barrera. She's a candidate for the Webb County Tax Assessor. And let's see how the campaign's going.
How you doing, Paul? Thank you for the invitation.
No, thank you for coming. How's the campaign going along?
It looks really good, surprisingly good, and we're getting good feedback and everything. So I'm very,
Have you seen a lot more momentum towards, we want you back, or what do you hear?
Yes. Sometimes I'm even greeted that way.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, come on back,
And
So, and a lot of comments on our Facebook that it's not the same, so we don't want to go back to the old ways, and we want to start new with great service, whatever it takes we're going to do. But it's all, that office, Paul, is an office of service. It's not one where you sit behind a bench and, with your black robe. That's judicial. That's different. And the laws are set and everything. In our office, the laws are set for motor vehicle or for property taxes. I mean, we have our rules, the laws that the legislature has adopted, but it's more of a collection. We're like a bank. We're the bank of the county. And our job is to collect. My job is to give you a little receipt saying, thank you for paying your taxes. Aquí está in an envelope. Thank you very much. Or I give you a sticker or a new set of plates because you just registered a car. That's what we give you out, So we've got to do it with the right attitude, thanking the taxpayer for even coming. I mean, they could go to San Antonio. They could go to other places if they have a home in San Antonio or a ranch in Zapata County. They can do a lot of things in other counties and still be within the law. And we lose out. But the one thing that office had in the past, and we're going to bring it back, is the service where people will look forward to, I just need to go to the oficina de Patricia Barrera and take care of this, okay? And they know that they're going to come in, take care of their business, and go on with their life, so.
That's the way it should be. But
Yes.
So that's basically what you're being here.
That's what
right?
I learned as a little girl working in my father's and mother's mom and pop store, and how I was raised to take care of the customer, because if we were going to have steak, we had to bring in the customers, and not only bring them in, but to keep them being repeat customers, because we had to compete with 2 established businesses plus HEB when my mom and pop started, okay? So we had Ernesto Martinez who gave credit, so they would pay at the end of the month. So people wouldn't come to us, so we had to entice them some way without the credit. And then we had a drive-in grocery store 3 blocks on Corpus Christi from us. And that was a novelty in the 50s, drive-in. Now, it's the in thing, okay? You expect a grocery store or, to have parking. Not like the tax office, that we have no parking. Now that's one of the pressing issues that we now have. then we need to move that office from the downtown area, move it somewhere where it's easier ingress and, you know, where they can come in and go out and continue on with their life.
Make it a lot easier. Make it a lot
Look,
easier.
you're taking their money and all you're giving them is a little piece of paper. The least we can do is make it more easier and friendlier for the taxpayer. And at the same time, I think our revenues will increase because they'll go there. A lot easier than, no, I'll do it later, and later it doesn't come, and before you know it, it's another year. You know? So it happens.
You're absolutely correct, because the service, everything's changing. I mean, everything's going to, you know, we run around with our phones, we do business through our phones,
Right.
we
Apps.
do business left and right.
That's right.
So you're gonna start seeing a lot of changing.
Mhm.
A lot of stuff that's gonna be done through email or through
Yeah,
the
through
website
the internet.
or through the internet,
Right.
whichever way whether it's on your laptop, your tablet, or your computer at home. So things are gonna change.
That's right. And the comforts of your home, or sitting
absolutely.
down watching TV and the commercial, you take care of business.
And
Right.
but you still sometimes have to go in person.
Yes.
And when people go in person and they get bad service, they're just gonna say, geez, you know, what do we need?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I've been hearing over and over and over. And I don't know how they lost it, what had happened to get to that point.
Well, when I left, it was just a matter of somebody coming. It was like a turnkey operation. Just open the doors and just continue the way it was. Okay, and they started bringing in changes. They eliminated stations. So cross training, they eliminated that. Even though she claims there is cross training, well, you see a bunch of people doing nothing because it's no longer tax season. Other than maybe now those that are delinquent are going because they're getting the refund checks and now paying whatever they still owe in property taxes. But they also helped in the renewals. So you see this long lines, and it's because not the full office is working to take care of the customer. The whole thing is the customer, the taxpayer. We work for them. And that was the attitude when we were there. And we're going to bring that back. And we believe that that's what the people want. Look, people don't want to mess or don't want to worry about, what did he tell me I needed to do? What is it that I'm lacking? They don't want that, you know? And we used to help them fill out the papers.
I remember.
You know, you didn't have to, I mean, we had a senior citizen who sent us an email telling us that 4 times he had to go to the tax office just to get his handicapped black card. 4 times. And every time he went, it was a new issue. It was a different issue from the prior visit. And you're doing this to a person who has a hard time parking?
And he's handicapped, and he already has other pressures in there, and that's happening.
Right.
Let me ask you this question, because that right there, it's hard to go in there and get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
The service is bad. That's what you hear. That's what's resonated
Yes.
out throughout.
Yes.
Did your whole team, I would say that, the whole department, is it still there or it's gone? What happened?
When I left, they were 100% there. Ms. Faribault fired my chief deputy, but I believe that was it. When Rosie came in, she immediately fired about 2 or 3 people right off the bat, the minute she walked in. And then from there, many have left. Many, and even some that she brought in have left. Because it's not a very friendly environment, okay?
And and that is sad, because that's something that,
I think less than half are still there of my staff, but everybody's intimidated.
because you can't go into some place and try to learn something new, especially if you haven't had it. If it's already good, then continue with it. And
Exactly.
unfortunately, Laredo and Webb County have that attitude. A
Mhm.
new head comes in there, they fire everybody that's
Yeah.
there. And that's why people are so scared. We don't live in a tyrannical environment, but here we see it. We
Yeah.
can't. And I don't blame her, and I'm not pushing the fingers towards Miss Cuellar, but it's just what happens.
Mhm.
And that attitude has to change, you
Right.
know? And people might be afraid, you know, if you vote for Ms. Barrera, she's gonna come in here and fire you. And I know that you're not gonna do that. You're probably gonna tell them, you know what, you have to go back to work.
Look, when I first got elected, I got elected in March. I didn't take office till January. So the media, many people, are you going in there and you're going to fire everybody? And my answer was, no, how can I fire anybody if I don't even know how they work? I'm going to go in and assess what I have, And to begin with, I don't know what has to be done in bookkeeping, because I went before Commissioner's Court back in 1992, could I go in to observe the operation of the office? And I was denied that. Mr. Laredo was no longer Laredo. He was working in the valley, okay? So, but I was denied access, and I had to sit on the bench and observe from the outside. But the inner workings of let's say, the bookkeeping department, where all the money comes in and that money has to be dispersed, I wasn't about to fire anybody, because I wouldn't have known what to do, So, and I didn't fire anybody. A lot of them left because they found another job and they wanted security. So I had vacancies, okay? But I did not fire, no. And I wouldn't do that again.
And that's good to hear, because I think that's what a lot of people that are in there right now are afraid of, But, because that's the only security that they have,
Yeah.
But changing the subject, do you need any types of licensings and stuff like that to be a tax assessor?
Yes, I believe it's really the only office where if an elected official doesn't pass the exam, they can be removed. Or you can't collect. Somebody else has to do the collection. They can continue doing motor vehicle, but property taxes, no. The legislature passed a law a long time ago where you have to be tested, and that was in the 90s. Like my predecessor was grandfathered in. Many of those of that era were grandfathered in, but those of us in the 90s when we got elected, we had to go. And you had 5 years to get your certification. And now it's a little bit less, and you can do a lot of the tests, the courses. You can do them online. You can earn your hours instead of having to go out of town. That was the only way. We had to go out of town, and it was a 4-day course that we would take, and then take a test, and then accumulate your hours and all that. So it's gotten a little bit easier.
So you have that certificate? And
I have it.
I'm pretty sure she has it as well, right?
No. She said at the Kiwanis Club debate that she was still working on it. Had met what she needed in the first year. Yes.
Okay.
So we'll do it. I mean, I did it for 25 years. I know I feel very secure that I'll be able to pass and hopefully do it even quicker. At the time.
Mm-hmm. You got a couple more days. We got early vote tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the last day from 8 to 8.
And then this weekend's off, and then Tuesday's a big day.
Yes.
What are you preparing? How are you getting your people around?
Well, first we're still working on early voting. We really trying to push that because you can go anywhere. Once on Tuesday, you have to go to your precinct, and only at that location. They only have the one ballot for that precinct, whereas you can go to on Del Mar, the fire station, or South Laredo, the library. You can go to Doctor's Hospital. Those are there from 8 to 8, or it was at the Billy Hall. I think now it's at the Justice Center, but that's from 8 to 8. And it's convenient because they have all the ballots there. So you and a friend can go, and each one has a different ballot, from a different precinct. So we're pushing still for the early voting.
And that's nice, and I'll have Mr. Tejas here, and we'll do an interview to kind of pump people up to go out there and vote. And the numbers are kind of low and up. They're kind of in the middle.
Well, I think what happened in the past, the early voting, the first week was usually 12 hours. Okay, they're from 7 to 7 or 8 to 8. This time they flipped it. So it was the first week of early voting was only from 8 to 5. So people that are working they found it very hard, unless you work downtown and you could go to the Billy Hall, you know, that kind of situation that they could take advantage. But most people vote after hours.
And you're true, you know, and there's still a lot of people here in Laredo that vote on election day, and they're gonna go there and they're set on their ways, and
I was one of those.
there's nothing you can do about that,
No.
you know, my mom's that way, and I said,
Yeah.
okay. And so, you know, I know that on
One-
election day, I'm gonna have to pick her up and take her to go vote.
The last time I did it on election day, it was so cold that the following time I ran, I went, you know, I didn't wait for election day. I did it early because it was a beautiful day, and we just get it out of the way, that kind of situation.
And I'm usually the first day of early vote, let's get it out of the way, let's
Yeah.
move forward, because you never know what happens.
But the first week, the turnout was very low compared to other years, but I think it had to do with
The
hours.
The hours.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can pick it up, because there's a lot of apathy on it,
Yeah.
and people need to go out there and vote.
Well, Sunday, there was a very good day. There was a lot of people going on Sunday. And then this week, it's been after the 5 o'clock that we see the rush.
Sure. Anything you'd like to tell your constituents out there, people out there in Webb County?
Well, I hope you consider Patricia Barrera for the next tax assessor collector. My pledge to you is to treat you like a king or a queen when you walk into that office. And I will be there, as always, roaming the hallways, there in the back of the work area. And if you need to talk to me, I'm there. And I will be there, as I was in the past. And let's just bring it back. Let's win it back, Webb County.
Well, hope God's with you, and hope everything's in your favor. And
Thank
folks,
you.
remember, tomorrow's early vote,
Yes.
last day, then Tuesday is election day. Until next time, peace.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. God bless you.
The following political paid advertisements do not reflect the political opinions of the program or its associates. Any political campaign or candidate who wishes to purchase advertising can do so. Advertising is open to all on behalf of Gloves Off.